So I might have just made the coziest autumn legacy challenge in The Sims 4. Hello and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, then welcome back. So today we're doing something a little bit different and I am so beyond excited for this. Now, for the longest time, I have been wanting to start some sort of gameplay series on my channel because I love watching people's gameplay series. I think that they are so much fun. And one of the ones that has always appealed most to me is legacy challenges. I think that they're so fun. I love watching them. They go on for such a long time. There's so many different things to do, and I just love the whole idea around them. So I had the idea to create my own legacy challenge. Now, I have never created a challenge before like this, so this was my first time trying to come up with something that I thought would be super fun. So there will be a link in the description if you want to download this legacy challenge and you want to play it yourself. Please feel free to do so. But this is the challenge that I'm going to be doing on the channel, and it is called the Changing Leaves Legacy. Let's dive into what this legacy entails and what you'll be expecting to see upon the channel within the next few weeks. Okay, so first of all, yes, I have made a PowerPoint. So starting off with the legacy name. So this is the Changing Leaves Legacy. Now, I do have a little disclaimer about this. I absolutely love autumn, okay? Like, it is my favorite season of all time. I wait for it to roll around every single year. Like, I'm obsessed with it. But that doesn't mean that you need to play this legacy challenge in autumn. It just has a very autumnal theme to it to give it more of like a cozy feel. And because I'm going to be playing it throughout the months of autumn leading into winter, I felt like it just made a lot of sense for it to follow that theme. But of course, you do not need to do that. You can play this whenever you like. And none of the generations actually technically like revolve around autumn, so you're good. Okay, so here is our first generation. So this generation is called the Harvest Generation, and this is the first generation of this legacy challenge. Now, the whole idea behind this generation is getting the family started off. So this is going to be starting rags to riches style, just like your typical legacy challenges do. And this sim is very quiet, so you're very shy, you see the bigger picture in everything, and you enjoy learning new things. You're curious and trusting, which sometimes gets you hurt. You become a gardener and spend your time planting different kinds of fruit and veg, which you love to share with your friends and your family. And you're just a really, really warm, inviting person. I felt like this was a really nice one to start us off because we're just starting off very simple, and then it progressively gets a little bit harder. Each sim does have a color theme, but this is not something that I'm being super strict with. It's not like I'm going to be making like every single piece of clothing that they're wearing this color or making their house completely this color. It was more just a fun thing that I'll probably incorporate into their hair color, maybe a few things dotted around the house, maybe just get across that they really like that color. But yeah, it's not going to be anything too extreme, but if you want to play with it that way, by all means, go ahead. By the way, I'm like in the corner of the screen. I hope that's not super distracting for you. Color theme for this gen is light yellow. Their aspiration is that they're a nature nomad and they love nature, like it is their thing. They feel the happiest when they're outside, which leads on to the traits. We have cheerful, loves outdoors, and animal enthusiast. The animal enthusiast leads on to their career, which is a conservationist to a marine biologist. If you don't know, that is like my dream job to have in the future, and I thought for now I can live vicariously through my Sims, so I thought that was a really fun way to start us off. Okay, now moving on to our second generation. This is the Crimson Gen. The contrast between Crimson Gen and Harvest Gen is so funny because they are just completely different. So this sim is a romantic. You find yourself hard to find the one. You're very secretive, but you come across very confident and charming. You end up going on endless dates that either lead to one night stands or nothing. Eventually, after what seems like forever, you find the person you've been searching for your whole life. But are you as committed as you thought? Now, you might have noticed with these kind of generations, I've not got any set in stone rules or anything that you have to oblige by. There's just hints, so if you want to go down a certain route, you can, but also if you don't want to, that's completely fine as well. I think this one's definitely going to be such an interesting one, and I think if you want to have a little bit of drama, this is the generation to do it. So the color theme is red, of course. The aspiration is romance explorer, which makes a whole lot of sense. And then their traits are that they're non-committal, they're self-absorbed, and they're romantic, which I find so funny. This is Toasty Gen. I kind of got this name from like toasting marshmallows. I thought that worked. So this is the third generation. Now, you love the idea of having a fun, exciting life, but realistically, you'd rather be curled up on the couch with a good book and candles lit around you. You spend a lot of time with your grandma. She's your best friend after all. So the grandma for this gen for me is my Harvest Generation sim. Obviously you could do grandpa if you wanted to switch it up a little bit. But I thought that was a cute little dynamic. Now, you're all about creating warm and inviting spaces for you, your friends, and your family. You enjoy staying home and watching TV, even when your friends are out partying. You visit the local bookshop frequently, and you notice yourself searching for someone each time you're there. I feel like this is super fun. You could have it be someone that works there, someone that's always visiting. You could create a sim and have them, you know, join you at the bookstore. It's a super cozy gen, and I've already built something which is definitely going to be incorporated into this gameplay, so I'm super excited. Now, the color theme for this gen is brown. The aspiration is academic. Traits: overachiever, generous, and socially awkward. I feel like it's fun to pick traits that are kind of difficult to play with, and I find that socially awkward sims are just like so funny, and they can be really difficult to play with, and I thought, why not make it a bit of a challenge? And their career is education. They are going to be a professor, and I think this is one of the ones I'm most excited for because I've never played as a teacher in The Sims 4, so I feel like that would be a fun one to explore. Next we have Spice Gen. This is Generation 4. You are a party animal and you don't know when to call it quits and go home, but you aren't scared to admit that. You're very outgoing and always have been. You have a lot of friends, too many to count. You can definitely hold an argument, but it doesn't always mean you're necessarily the one in the right. You want to explore relationships until one clicks. Whether that means several dates, relationships, or even marriages, you're down for it. The only thing that stops the extent of your craziness is your mother, but you always reassure that you'll be safe. Whether you were like a mum or a dad of this gen, either way, you went to bookstores, you're a very quiet person, and this is your child. And I think that you get a little bit stressed out because, you know, they're always going out. But yeah, this sim is an absolute party animal. So their color theme is orange. I was going by like spice, like kind of like cinnamon spice. Their aspiration is serial romantic, and their traits are party animal, hot-headed, and outgoing. I feel like hot-headed is a really annoying one to play with. So I added it. Now, their career, I think this is so funny. They're a romance consultant and they're a relationship counselor, which is hilarious because they're really bad at relationships. So I imagine that they give like the worst advice. But yeah, people love going to them for some reason. But yeah, I thought it was a little bit ironic. So I thought that was fun. This sim loves comfort and warmth. They love to get others' opinions before jumping straight into things. Now, you have a few close friends and you love it being that way. You're pretty quiet, but you're smart for sure, although you're very humble about it. You love gaming and hope to make a career of it someday, even if your family doesn't quite understand it. You've always secretly had a crush on your best friend's sibling, but that's sacred, right? So yeah, that's going to be a super fun one. And also, you definitely don't have to pursue that relationship. This is what I mean. The stories are very vague where you don't have to follow them, but I think I most likely will because it sounds like drama. And that's what I want in my game. Okay, now the color theme is white. I was thinking like the whipped cream on top of the hot chocolate. The aspiration is a computer whiz. Traits is geek, bookworm, and love bug. Love bug's a really fun one, and I don't play with it very often, so I thought that was a good one to include. And the career is video game streamer. I love to include some sort of freelance careers and also some careers that are more working at home, and this seemed like a really good one. So next we have Gen 6. This is the Mocha Gen. This is actually very like similar to Hot Chocolate Gen, but like they have a little bit more spice, you know, they're a mocha. So, unlike your parent who preferred cozy nights in, you thrive in social settings. You just absolutely thrive. You love making connections with people. Now, you really want to make a name for yourself in the social media world by building a career on confidence, connections, and creativity. And you also just want to get your name across because you are good at what you do. So, the color theme for this one is mocha / warm brown. The aspiration is leader of the pack. For the traits, we have bro, perfectionist, and creative. And for career, we have tattoo artist at a small business. This is such a fun one. I have not played with businesses and hobbies, like I've not actually done gameplay, so this is going to be just super exciting. I cannot wait for this gen. There's also like so many options in the game now for tattoos, and you can make your own tattoos, and I feel like that will be a lot of fun in the kind of creative aspect of creating the sim and making them like kind of evolve around this career. I don't know, I really like the idea of it. Maybe they have like a basement in their mom and dad's house and like they've been doing tattoos. I don't know, sounds a little bit sketchy, but like I'm digging it. I like it. Okay, we're moving on to Generation 7. So this is the Auburn Mist generation, and they are thoughtful, mysterious, and often underestimated. While others seek the spotlight, you're more comfortable writing, painting, or simply thinking. You love being alone, but you're never lonely. To you, solitude feels like home. Despite your quiet nature, your emotions run deep, especially when it comes to love. You fall hard and you love intensely, often with people who don't quite understand your depth. But when you find someone who sees you, really sees you, that's when your walls begin to fall. So the color theme for this one is like that burnt orange vibe. The aspiration is painter extraordinaire. I feel like that is kind of a good one. I feel like that's not too difficult, but your traits are where it becomes a little bit more difficult for you. You're a loner, you're paranoid, and you're gloomy. And if you don't know, like being a loner is good because it means you don't really need to interact with people. But when you're around people a lot, sometimes you get a little bit annoyed. And being paranoid and being gloomy are not the best traits in the world. So yeah. Your career is that you're a freelance artist or writer. I thought this made sense because if you don't really like being around people, then those are great solitude activities. I feel like this one is one of my like weaker ones because there's not as much to it, but I feel like you can still make this really, really fun, and I'm still excited to delve into this one. Now, the next gen is Gen 8, and this one's called Lavender Haze. And when I tell you, I think this is my favorite gen out of all of them. This one is a super fun one. So this is the 8th generation of this legacy. You're intuitive, wise beyond your years, and fascinated by death. Not in a morbid way, but as a bridge to stories lost, lives unlived, and spirits forgotten. You believe that the past never really dies, and you've made it your life's work to uncover and preserve those ghostly remnants. You live surrounded by candles, crystals, old books, and secrets. Your house is never quiet for long. You do have friends. They might not be breathing, but they're there. This is kind of alluding to the fact that this sim is going to have a lot of ghost friends, and I imagine that they will most likely be living in Ravenwood because I can't think of a better world for them to live in. So the color theme is of course lavender, which I love the idea of this already. Their aspiration is that they are a ghost historian, and their traits are that they're erratic, chased by death, and a cat lover. I just thought the chased by death trait is one that I've never really explored, and with the way this sim is, it just makes absolute sense that they would be chased by death. And also a cat lover. I'm a cat lover, and it's such a witchy thing. I feel like this whole gen is kind of supposed to fall under that witchy umbrella. So yeah, I thought that worked out pretty nicely. And the career is paranormal investigator freelance career. This one I already know I'm going to have an absolute blast, so I cannot wait. Now we have 2 generations left. We are on to Gen 9. This is the turkey gen. I was thinking kind of Thanksgiving for this one. So you grew up in a house full of love, noise, and so much food. I mean, your mom or dad was like partying with the ghosts. I don't know if that counts, but I feel like, I mean, you know, your mom or dad might have been friends with ghosts, but I feel like your grandma was like, you know, chilling with maybe living people, so maybe they were the host of of the parties. Your life is defined by tradition, warm kitchens, loud dinners, inside jokes, and emotional meltdowns. You're the kind of person who hosts every gathering, knows everyone's favourite comfort food, and can't help but take care of others. Behind all that warmth is a people pleaser who often forgets to take care of themselves. You make jokes about being the glue of the family, but deep down it's true, and it's exhausting sometimes. Your dream is to raise a big family in a home filled with laughter, traditions, and maybe just a little bit of chaos. Now, the colour theme for this one is deep red. Your aspiration is a super parent, which is a super cute one for family orientated. Traits: family orientated, neat, and over emotional. I mean, I feel like having a parent that was like very into paranormal activities and also being chased by death, you probably are going to be a little bit over emotional, trying to like process all of these feelings. I mean, maybe in a way you're a little bit cold because you're very used to things, but I don't know. I thought it made sense, and I wanted to pick some traits that we hadn't used yet, so I thought these ones worked pretty well. Your career is a stay-at-home parent. You just want to like stay at home, you just want to take care of your kids, you want to be there for your family, and yeah, I thought that was a pretty fun one. And then we move on to our last gen. So this is Generation 10, the Frosty Gen. So this is leading us into that kind of winter build up. Cold to the touch, but not to the core. While your ancestors thrived on warmth, chaos, love, or spirituality, you thrive on order, independence, and control. You were the quiet child at loud dinners, the lone walker on frosty mornings, the one who didn't believe in ghosts, fate, or feelings, not because you didn't want to, but because it is safer that way. You excel at everything you put your mind to, your intelligence is unmatched, your self-discipline is admirable, your standards are sky high. You build a life of clean lines, success, and solitude until something or someone slowly starts to thaw the ice. This is the final chapter, the frostbitten final of the warm legacy. Will you stay frozen or let yourself melt? It became a little bit poetic there. I hope you enjoyed that. So the color theme is ice blue. Your aspiration is successful lineage. This is to honor your ancestors. You want to have a very successful family line. You care so much about your family. Now, your traits are that you're a genius, but you're also high maintenance and ambitious. I feel like high maintenance is a pretty fun one, and I can imagine your partner like having to deal with you being very high maintenance. And the career that you want is an astronaut. I mean, you're ambitious and you're also a genius, so I feel like that makes sense. So that is all of the generations for my Changing Leaves legacy. I really hope you like the idea of it and that you think it sounds pretty fun. If you do want to play it yourself, please feel free. There will be a link in the description to a kind of downloadable version of this, just in case you want to look at any of the roles yourself. Also, feel free to change anything up. You know, this is just a fun little challenge. It's definitely not to be taken too seriously. Now, my plans are that I'm going to be uploading a video hopefully at least once a week alongside a speed build, as I normally do. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure right now, but that's kind of what I'm aiming for, so hopefully you're excited to see them when they do eventually come to the channel. But thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know what you think of this legacy challenge and what generation are you looking forward to the most, because the Lavender Haze generation has absolutely hooked me in. I mean, even though I wrote it and came up with it, but like, you know, I've hooked myself into this plot. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!